Okay, here we go. We're going to do a video to go over the quizzes to help you out. Sorry that I didn't get this to you earlier, but, well, I just didn't. Alright, so let's look at this, and how do I simplify it when I multiply and divide? Well, the idea is to make sure you first do all the, break out the numbers, like any numbers or x's. Like monomials, I would break them down to their prime factorization, and binomials or polynomials, see what you can factor. So if you look at 12, we can factor that out. We can break that up to 2 and 6, and then 6 to be 2 and 3. So that would give me a 2 times 2 times 3. That represents the 12. The x squared minus the x, I can take out the x, and so I would be left with an x minus 4. Over, on the bottom, I have x squared minus 16. Now when you see a square and a minus, think plus minus, and take the square root of the 16. So in that case it would be x plus 4, x minus 4. And then the 10 I can break up to 2 and 5. Now when you look at this, what can you cross out? That's what you want to do. So I can cross out a 2, I can cross out an x minus 4, and I think that's about it. And so whatever I have left over is going to be what I have left over. So let's see here, that would be a 6x over x plus 4 times 5, or 5 times x plus 4, whichever would work. Okay, from the other quiz, let's look at the next question from the other quiz. And there it goes. And so what we're going to do, the same thing. The 14 I can break up to 2 times 7, x. And then I can factor out the x again also for the second one. Notice I like to do everything on top first and then everything on the bottom second. X squared minus 25 would be x plus, x minus, square root of 25 is 5. So plus minus 5. And 21 is 3 times 7. Crossing out, I have a 2 and an x squared left on top, and then a 3 and an x plus 5 on the bottom, and that's it. You're done. Leave it in factored form. I did not ask any of y'all to distribute, and that's what I want is in factored form. There's an important reason for having it factored. So let's look at number 2. And again, I'm trying to do both versions of the quizzes, so kind of go from that. When you divide by a fraction, keep in mind that you're multiplying by the reciprocal. So basically, on the second fraction, they're going to switch. So as I factor this, x squared minus 8x plus 15. I take that one as normal. Minus plus is 8 minus minus. The two numbers that multiply to give you 15 and add up to 8 is 5 and 3. Okay, now the next fraction, those two switch. So really I need to do the prime factorization of 14x squared y to the 4th power. So that would be 2 times 7 with 2 x's and 4 y's. And then on the bottom I have 4, which is 2 times 2, 2 x's and 1 y. And then the 2x minus 10, notice both numbers are divisible by 2. And so I can factor out a 2 and get x minus 5. And notice I kind of was trying to give you all a clue that I have the x minus 5s both on top and bottom. So kind of go with the idea that one of those two parentheses that you see on top probably will help you factor out the other one to get it on the bottom. Anyways, the x minus 5s cancel out. 2 x's cancel out, or 2 sets of x's. A y cancel out, and a 2 cancels out, leaving me with an x minus 3 times 7y cubed, because there's 3 y's, and then 2 times 2 is 4. And that's it, because there's nothing else left on the bottom. Let's look at the other version of number 2. Okay, same thing. I got a minus plus, so that's going to be minus minus. Two numbers that multiply to give me 9, but add up to 4, or multiply to give me 14 and add up to 9, 7 and 2. I'm switching the second fraction, so I'm breaking up the 22, which would be 2 times 11, 2 x's, 3 y's. And then the 10 is 2 times 5, 3 x's, 1 y. And then I can take out a 5 and be left with an x minus 2, because 10 divided by 5 is 2. So the x minus 2's would cancel out, 2 sets of x's would cancel out, a y would cancel out, and that's it. So I'm left with 11y squared and an x minus 7, and on bottom 5 times 5 is 25 with 1x. And that's it for that question. Okay, for the number 3's, again, you have these numbers 24, 40, 15, or if you have the other version 12, 18, 15. What you do on the calculator is press menu 2, 4, and you would do the first two numbers. So you'd like do menu 2, 4 type in 24, 40, press enter, and then you would take the answer and say menu 24, type in the answer times or comma 15. So you do the answer with the third number and then press enter, and that would give you the least common multiple, which in this case is 120 or 180 for the other one. For the variables, all you got to do is write the variables and then find the highest exponent between the three terms, and that's your answer. For number 4, you had to factor. So you have to know some of your factoring rules, like a minus plus is a minus minus. Two numbers that multiply to give me 20 and add up to 9 are 5 and 4. And then the next one I have plus minus, which is plus minus. And two numbers that multiply to give me 30 and subtract to give me a 1 are 6 and 5. What do they have in common? They have an x minus 5 in common. Then I can add an x minus 4 from the left, an x plus 6 from the right, and that's my answer. Don't expect to see it multiplied. Next one, plus plus is plus plus. So two numbers that multiply to give me 28 and add up to 11 is 7 and 4. And then I got a plus minus. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me 42 and would subtract to give me a 1. That would be 7 and 6. So what do they have in common? They have an x plus 7 in common, and I can add an x plus 4 and an x minus 6. And I am done with those. That's all you got to do for that. Here on number 5, both versions, all you got to do is combine like terms. If you notice that the denominators are the same, and yes, they're the same for both versions in that sense, but the denominators are the same, so all I got to do is combine like terms. So what can I add with 3x? I can subtract the 8x. The 3 and the 8x combine to give me negative 5x. And then I just throw in the plus 7 and the plus 6x squared. Not worried about the order, but if you want to put them in order, it would have been 6x squared first. So that's all you're doing is adding them, and that's it. You're done. Subtraction, got to go back a little bit here. So let's go back a wee bit. There we go. Okay, subtraction, you can basically keep in mind that a minus will change the sign of everything in the second term. So the second rational expression. So notice how here I'm going to change it, and then I combine like terms. Okay, so that would give me, like, say 8 plus a negative 2, which is 6, negative 3 plus an 8, which is 5, and 11 plus 3, which is 14. Notice that the denominator does not change. I'm doing the same thing for the other version, changing the signs and then combining like terms and putting it over a denominator that will not change. Number 7. Okay, so here we have something that's already pre-factored, and you got to find the LCM first. So what do they have in common? They have a 2. Okay, what can I add from the left? I can add an x minus 4. And what can I add from the right? I can add an x plus 1. Okay, so if you kind of keep that in mind, you don't need to worry about the 2. What they had in common, you can kind of ignore now. So the number or whatever you have in the front, you can kind of ignore, and just focus on the two other parentheses. So what's missing from the left one that I can multiply it by? Well, I'm missing the x plus 1, so I'm going to multiply 7 times the x plus 1. That would give me 7x plus 7. And on the 5, on the left one, on the right one, I'm missing the x minus 4. So I'm going to say 5 times x minus 4. That would give me 5x minus 20. Okay, so 7x plus 5x is 12x. And 7 minus 20 is 13, minus 13, and I'm done. Just put that together, and that's it. That's all. On the other one, on this one, this is the other version. You can see here that I've got basically the same thing. Notice how I've already written the least common multiple here. So what's missing from the left one is the x plus 4. So I'm going to say 7 times x plus 4, which gives me 7x plus 28. The 5 is missing the x minus 1, so that multiply that. 5x minus 5. And then combine like terms, that gives you 12x plus 23. Have no idea why I have a minus just yet, but I'm pretty sure I will fix that. There we go. So there you go for that one. Alright, so for number 8 here, keep in mind there's a minus. So it's kind of the same thing. They have an x minus 2 in common. Then I have an x minus 5 I can add, and an x plus 3. Okay, so the left one is missing the x plus 3, so I'm going to multiply that by x plus 3, so that gives me 9x squared plus 9. The second one, notice how I'm going to put here a minus 9x. Minus, and then parentheses. And the 8 is missing the x minus 5. So I'm going to put there minus 8x minus 40. Then I will distribute the minus, so I'm rewriting this with the minus distributed. And then I can combine my like terms. In this case, 9x plus minus 8x is just 1x over 40 over the x minus 2, x minus 5, x plus 3. And that's all you've got to do for that problem. Here's another one where I had to do the minus. Notice here they have an x minus 7 in common. So I'm going to write x minus 7, then x minus 3, and then x plus 4. Okay, so what is the left one missing? It's missing the x plus 4. So 5x times x plus 4 would give me 5x squared plus 20x. The minus, notice I'm going to put minus, then put parentheses, and multiply that by the x minus 3. So that would give me 7x times a negative 21. Distribute the minus, and that's going to give me minus 7x plus 21. Combine my like terms, and that should have 5x squared plus 13x plus 21 over all that x minus 7, x minus 3 stuff. So a lot of this, if it's right there in front of you, you kind of work it from there. Alright, number 9. Now you have to start factoring. Now it's not right there in front of you. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so here, notice I factored the x squared minus 9 and went ahead and said that that's x plus 3, x minus 3. So remember, every time you see x squared minus, you can say x plus, x minus, what's the square root? Square root of 9 is 3. Put that into both parentheses. So what I'm missing here is I need to, like, what do they have in common? They have an x minus 3. What can I add from the left? An x plus 3. What can I add from the right? Not a darn thing. Okay, so since the first one on the left already has both factors, or both parentheses, there, I can just go ahead and bring over the 7x plus 1. The second one is missing the x plus 3, so that means I got to multiply 2 times the x plus 3, which would give me 2x plus 6, and then you combine your like terms. 7 plus 2 is 9, 1 plus 6 is 7, put that over the x minus 3, x plus 3, and you are done. Alright, so here's the other version of number 9. And on that one, you notice here is x plus 5 and x squared minus 25. The x squared minus 25 can be broken up to x plus 5, x minus 5. So what do they have in common? They have in common the x plus 5. What am I adding? An x minus 5. And I have to multiply that to the second one, because that's the one that's missing the x minus 5. And that would give me that. And then combine your like terms. 7x plus 3x is 10. 8 minus 35 should be a negative 27. I'm not exactly sure why I have a plus 27, because nobody ever corrects me like the way they should. Ay. So there you go. And over the x plus 5, x minus 5. And again, I want that in factored form. There is no reason for you to give me that answer as x squared minus 25 on the denominator. Alright, so let's look at the last two problems. I'm not going to do the bonus. Nice try. Okay, so on this version number 10 that I'm looking at, here's the problem I have. So now if you look at this one's easy. I can say x plus, x minus, and the square root of 16 is 4. Okay? Here, what do you take out? Well, initially I wanted y'all to take out, notice that both numbers are divisible by 2, and I can take out an x. So that will leave me with an x minus 4. So that means my thing was, or my least common multiple, I technically would have preferred 2x over 2x times x minus 4, because that's what they have in common. Actually, I'm sorry, let's take that back a bit. What do they have in common? They have an x minus 4. Okay, what can I add from the left? I can add a 2x. What can I add from the right? I can add an x plus 4. Okay, now, that means technically I should multiply this one by x plus 4. That would give me 4x plus 16. And this one, minus 7, I'm going to multiply just by 2x. So notice here, I'm not even worrying about the x minus 4 because I've already taken care of that. The one that they have in common, you won't have to worry about. And that gives me minus 14x. Okay, so that gives me here negative 10x plus 16 over the x minus 4 times the 2x plus, not plus, times the x plus 4. Okay. Now, some of y'all did notice that all three of these numbers here are divisible by 2 and you divide it by 2. Again, that's not something I was really worried about, but I will make sure that's fixed around the test time. So I preferred this answer, but some of y'all were giving me an answer that was kind of like half of that. Look at the other version of number 10. The other version says 8 over 2x squared minus 8x minus 3 over the x squared minus 16. So it has the same properties here. Like I can take out 2x and be left with an x minus 4. And this is x plus 4, x minus 4. So I am saying here that what they have in common is the x minus 4, and I'm adding from the left 2x, and from the right x plus 4. That means I'm multiplying this by x plus 4, so that gives me 8x plus 32. And here I'm going to multiply this one by 2x, that will give me minus 6x. I have no idea why I put a parentheses there and didn't put it there. Okay, so 8 minus 6 is 2x plus 32. And again, some of you may have noticed that those two numbers are both divisible by 2, and then I have this 2 down here at the bottom I can get rid of. But I prefer to have y'all go ahead and leave it like this in this unsimplified format. So again, not something I expect y'all to do. Anyways, that's it for me going over this quiz. I will have something else for the review. Y'all take care. Thank you.